All right, how's everybody doing? My name is Todd Richards. I'm with the County Freedom Coalition. And in this podcast, we're interviewing people who are trying to advance liberty and freedom in the state of Colorado. And today we are joined by Brita Horn. I can't even begin to start where you have your fingers in every little pot that I can think of. That they are, you've got your hands in every cookie jar that I could possibly imagine. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to say, okay, you do this, this, and this, but it's not. So, I'm going to start off with some of the easy questions.
Okay.
Are you a Colorado native?
No, I'm not. And
Oh.
First of all, thank you very much. I know. So thank you very much for inviting me. I really appreciate the opportunity, Todd. So no, I'm not a Colorado native. I actually was born in upstate New York. Grew up in Chicago.
Oh my God.
And then went back to school in the college back in New York, upstate New York. Dabbled in some politics there. We can unpack that a little bit. Then we went on to DC, a group of us. Worked from DC. I was a cost controller and cost analyst for an international hotel down near Georgetown. And I was also fortunate to be a bartender for the White House back in the 80s.
Oh, wow.
And then, I know,
Stories.
exactly. The stories I could tell. So then the hotel industry sent me out to California to open up a new hotel in Rancho Mirage, but it wasn't ready yet. So they're like, could you stop in Vail? We need some help in Vail. And there were some issues that I needed to clean up at that hotel. Happy to do it as their cost controller and head of security. And then for about a year, lived in Vail and with a whole bunch of guys from another hotel, just trying to find a house, a room to live in during ski season. Then I couldn't afford rent anymore there in Vail. So I looked at the back of the phone book. There used to be this thing called a map in the back of the phone book.
Oh, yeah.
And saw this little town of McCoy and drove up to McCoy and found a little hamlet and kind of set my stakes there. And it didn't take too long to meet one of the eligible bachelors of McCoy. The whopping town of 32 is now down to 27.
Wow.
And a few months later, I was being transferred off to California, and this good-looking rancher said, "Can't take my cows to California. Will you marry me?" And that was 31 years ago. I said yes.
So you've been here ever since. So yeah, 31 years is a good. Yeah, you're pretty much got that Colorado blood running through you now if you've been here that long. So.
Okay.
That's all good to know. Yeah, just like you'd be amazed how many people are not. Well, I don't think you'd be amazed, but there are a lot of people that are not from Colorado, and it's getting worse. Getting worse. There's more people influxing in, so unfortunately.
More people are leaving. And we up here in the mountains, halfway between Steamboat Springs and Vail, there's quite a few long timers that consider even my husband, who's been here since 1964 with his family, when he was in third grade. They're not even considered long timers.
Oh, well, my family, the one side of the family, the Richards side of the family, has been here since 1893. And the other side, which married they were Schieffers. They're from out of Austria, and they have been here since 1870. I want to say 1879 or 1878. So we were here a long time ago. Long time ago. I'm sixth generation awesome. Coloradoan. So, yep. So, yep. Wow. Been here a long time. So
my daughters are only fourth generation. So you win.
Okay. Yeah, well, I've been all over the world, so, and retired from the military, and they gave me the choice. You can move back wherever you want to go, anywhere in the world, we'll move you there. And I picked Colorado. And now that I'm looking back at it, I was like, I probably shouldn't have picked Colorado. So probably should have went somewhere else. Yeah. Unfortunately. So So, what would you like to talk about? One of the many pots that you have your fingers stuck into. I mean, I've
My
talked
fingers.
to you before, so I know that there's quite a few, and we
Well,
can go over a bunch.
I appreciate it. So first of all, I'm going to make a couple of disclaimers. So number one, I am speaking for Brita Horn and Brita Horn only. As you know, I am on a lot of different boards. I am very fortunate, very blessed, and we can unpack it about being the volunteer fire chief here in McCoy. And I have my fingers in a lot. You're right, in that whether it's ranching or family or fire or politics or just getting women in office. I definitely am definitely a worker bee in making sure we get those things done. But when we talk today, I'm talking as Brita Horn, the person, not representing any of those organizations.
Well, yeah, better get that out there so I don't get in trouble, and you don't get in trouble, and all that good
Right.
stuff. So, all right.
And then also the second one, I've had a lot of conversations, a lot of people contacting me, and I will not, I repeat, am not running for state GOP Colorado. Nope,
Mm-hmm.
nope, nope, nope. I have too many commitments going on. I have too many promises to these other organizations that I need to see through, because a lot of them are looking for some growth and looking for some leadership. And I definitely can offer them those products, and I want to make sure we get them done.
So not this time.
Not this time. That's funny.
Not this time.
I'm getting too old for this. Come on.
Oh yeah, okay. Um, so I know that one thing that we had talked about when I talked to you on the phone a little while ago, you really push for getting women in office, and I think that's fabulous. There needs to be more. My whole thought is women don't screw around. They just tell you like it is, and you don't like it. That's too bad. A lot of the leadership that I had that were women in the military, they just told you like it is. And if you didn't like it, you could just go sit down in color. And that's just too bad. This is the way we're going to do it.
Right.
And if it's right or wrong, we'll find out. But this is the way we're going to do it. So too bad. And I always thought that was great. And I think there needs to be a lot more women in the political arena. So I think that's great.
Well, absolutely. I think, like you said, I mean, everybody's had a mother sometime in their life, or a substitute mother, or a teacher like a mother. And we're definitely problem solvers. We get things done. We do many things at once. Wear many different hats at different times. What's best for family, what's best for, ranching and agriculture, what's best for, serving our community. We're doing it all the time, whether, we put it on our resume or not, whether we're stay-at-home moms or going to work, we're still doing all those pieces. And so this last time, I think we saw quite a few women, the whole, hashtag mom on a mission. We also had mad mom, because we were all told we were mad moms. And yeah, we're mad of all the restrictions that are going on. We're mad at the government telling us what to do, telling us how to raise our children, teaching them what we don't want taught in public school. It's interesting. I even saw, it was a couple of weeks ago that the superintendent of Denver said that they were closing down 5 or 6 schools because moms are mad.
Yep.
Moms have had it, and they're pulling their kids out and going somewhere else, or bringing them home and homeschooling them. So, there's consequences to that. So seeing that just everywhere we've been looking, we just saw a lot of women running, and I was glad to be a part of that. I was glad to help wherever I could. They were all my friends. They were everybody that we've been, towing this, rowing this tow for so long. And then finally everyone's had the courage to step up, and we're like, let's get to it. Let's get it done. So
yep.
I appreciate your military point of view too, because you're right. I was, even though I was the youngest of 4 daughters in our family, my oldest sister just passed away last year, and she was Lieutenant Colonel, retired Air Force flight nurse. And she was in a Gulf 1 and 2 in Iraq. And, she pretty much raised me. And I got that leadership from her that, get it done, military. This is the way it's going to go. And we're going to go through, tactics, we're going to go through strategy, but this is the way it's going to be done. And
Yep.
Everybody listened.
Oh, yeah. Always seems to be that way. I don't understand why, but it is what it is. I don't think of my military careers, anything extraordinary, but people always come up and, what'd you do? And I tell them what I did, and they just think it's just fantastic. And it's like, wow, that's great. I was like, oh, okay, it's just my job, but it is what it is, I guess. You brought up something, urban, rural. Is the urban rural divide a real thing?
You want to say it is because we live in different places. Like I said, right now live in a town of 26 with no cell service. We're very independent. We have to rely on each other if we need to, but we're very independent and like our freedom and like our space. Yet I grew up from, suburban Chicago. I was, suburban kid, and understood how that was that same mechanism, that same organization was on our cul-de-sac, and my mother went to town for work. The neighbor's mom, made checked up on us after school, make sure everything was all right. So we still had that each other. So when I look back at it, we still have the same heart and soul for our family and our children. It's just how we think about it, because there's just so many more people living, obviously, in the urban versus the suburban versus the rural divide. So I want to say we have the same spirit as women, but how we think and how we want to get it done, I think that's where we can agree to disagree.
Yep. It's been quite amazing, the people that we've interviewed so far. And most of them have been rural farmers and ranchers and stuff. And they absolutely believe that it is 100% real. And they get very upset about it. And so it's, I always like to get that perspective. What do you think? And, what's going on? So pretty interesting. What else was there? I had all this thought out, but, age and treachery and all that other stuff just out one here and it's gone now.
Let's talk about my book.
Oh, you got a book?
Yes, I gave you the link to it. So it's called
that's right.
From a Fire Hose: 5 Essential Tools to Not Get Soaked. And it's about a situation that I had in the very beginning of my fire career, when the community decided to put the fire department together back on 9/11, when we realized we didn't have a local fire department, and we had to rely on other departments to come in that were 40 plus minutes away, either down towards I-70 in Vail or up towards Steamboat coming down on the north. So we, as a community, put a fire department together, and it's been a nonprofit 501c3, so we don't get any tax dollars. And in the last 15 years, I've been fortunate enough to be the fire chief. And definitely, you get all the other hats too. You get to write grants, get to look for equipment, go to all the meetings, make sure everybody shows up on the calls, make sure everybody's trained. And the book definitely put in a perspective of how I went down on I-70 to learn how to be a firefighter as an almost 40-year-old mom, once we put the kids into public school in Yampa, and learned all the tricks and trades, but also the struggles of being a female in a very male-dominant career. And I'm going back, like I said, now 21 years ago, and it was a little tougher. And there was people that definitely didn't want me to get ahead, and what I had to do to get through it. And it just also encompasses the kind of the leadership roles in our careers, women's careers, whether we adapt and when we pivot in our lives and when we overcome issues. So I definitely kind of put those 3 concepts through every chapter, with all these different fire tools that definitely are part of my life to make sure I use every day to get through every situation. And that's what I was trying to say earlier, is that we're all the same when we do that. Females, whether we're, like you said, rural or urban and suburban, it's just that we're all the same, and how to get through those steps. It's just that we might think differently about it.
That's, now that you say that, it's funny because I still use all that military leadership and training and stuff like that. It'll be almost 15 years now since I've been out. I still use, go back onto those, what did I do in those situations, and what, who and how and what, when, where, why, and fall back on that leadership training through the military to get things through, and or help people out, or do stuff like that. And it's just like something that and something that you're comfortable with, and you fall back on it, and it works. And some people look at you a little strange, least on my side, I was like, I did this in the military, and granted, we're not in the military now, but it should work because it's the same concept. So leadership is leadership. So, yeah,
exactly. And we understand when you learn all those leadership positions, and actually, like you said, in both military and fire, and it could be for law enforcement, any kind of public service that we're charged or commanded to do something in the heat of the moment, you really need to be instructed how to do that and how to fix it and what to do and how to problem solve and how to think about 4 steps ahead at the same time. We got to kind of be quick on our feet at 2 a.m. when there's a semi truck on fire or somebody's child isn't breathing. You got to act quick. And like I said, in rural America, we got to get there. It takes us a little while to get there because even here with no cell service, somebody has to find a landline to even call 911 to get the call across the radio. So you got, we're not coming from the station. We're not coming from the barracks. We're not coming from the military base. We're coming from our homes and then turning around and quickly getting to the call and making it better, making somebody's worst day better.
Yep. All volunteers up there.
Absolutely. 100%. So the county of Eagle is not. Everybody on I-70 is paid career. There's a couple of departments that are combination, which they have both paid and volunteer. But up here, up north in 244 square miles, it's all volunteer.
A lot of square miles up there. Oh, mountain roads, right? Dirt mountain roads.
There's only one paved highway 131. The rest of it's all dirt roads.
Yeah, dirt roads. It's just fun in the wintertime.
You're right.
Yep. One of the things that I've talked about with a lot of people, and I think we can probably talk for 4 or 5 days on this, is why do the Republicans love to eat their own? I don't understand it. It drives me nuts. I just don't get it. And we do it constantly. And I'm sure it's the same thing. I live in Weld County, and it's the same thing. I'm sure it's the same all across the state. I'm sure it's the same all across the country. I just don't get it. I always tell people, Democrats put up a hot dog, they're going to lockstep, and they're all going to go vote for that hot dog, and they don't care. And we are going to argue, excuse me, and scream and holler and get all bent out of shape because our candidate didn't make the ballot. So I'm not going to vote. I'm going to take my ball. I'm going to go home, and I'm not going to vote for anybody. So I don't get it.
It's been a struggle. It's been a struggle, and it seems to be more and more of a struggle. I mean, if you want to talk about divide, talk about what's going on underneath the Republican tent. There's definitely groups and subgroups, and everybody's going to die on the sword for principle, after the primary. I mean, I'm all for a good debate, a good fight, a good, knockdown, drag out before the primary. Let's get our person in, the person that we believe in, and we all have one vote. But after the primary, we have to all get along. And you're absolutely right, because as soon as we start, parceling out, or I don't like the way, I was even told, I don't know if we didn't talk about it, but I ran for treasurer, not this time, but the time before, 5 years ago. And I had somebody said that they weren't going to vote for me because I wasn't wearing dresses and high heels. Because I was coming from work in Steamboat, and we have this Steamboat way of, tights and boots and skirts and a jacket. And I wasn't professional enough. So I can't, a woman saying I can't vote for you. And I'm like, really? Can we do it based on principles or what,
credentials or yeah.
Exactly. Ability, being a county treasurer and going to be a state treasurer. So when you start seeing that and going through all that at the state level as an executive position, and there was 5 or 6 of us that were running against each other after Walker Stapleton had his 2 terms, you just start realizing there's all these camps. And so I was hoping to get, start getting a bench of women to start, getting along and helping each other and seeing what it looks like. And so you're right. So our own list of Republicans on the ballot came from different camps. Some people might say, oh, there were just one, but they came from different camps that we had. And some people voted for some, voted for others, or undervoted, or like you said, we saw terribly this last midterm elections that so many Republicans didn't even come out and vote. I mean, I heard the stat the other day that 53% of people in Colorado voted for 73%. No, 53% voted for 75% of all our legislators, state and House. So that's saying that
Republican side?
No, for the whole state.
Oh, for the whole state.
Like, so 53%, it ended up being more Democrat than Republican.
Oh yeah.
That's not a very big percent to have gotten. We could have gotten a lot more Republicans in instead of Democrats. Yep. The margin of error was in there, but then we were voting third party or voting for somebody else or undervoting or not voting because so-and-so came from that camp or this camp. And it just is exhausting. And I'm hearing from a lot of the donors, you're hearing about it statewide, the donors are exhausted from all the infighting too. Yeah, they're like, they put the skin in the game. They're putting the money into it. And here we have everybody bickering amongst themselves about why they can or why they can't, or I'm going to vote on principle and I'm going to vote for this, person that's not even in our party, even though there's an R after their name. Yep. It does get exhausting.
Yeah, no, there was a radio talk show host that my son used to work for. And he did a hamburger, your ideal candidate versus your ideal hamburger. And your ideal candidate might not agree with you on one thing, so you take something off the hamburger. So maybe you take the pickles off. You can still eat the hamburger? Well, of course you are. So why wouldn't you still vote for that candidate? And you just start going down the list. And he got mad at the end and he said, I've seen you people at the county fairs and at the high school football games eating a bun and a burger, some ketchup and a bun. And if that's a good enough hamburger, then why aren't these candidates that we're bringing up there good enough? What is stopping everybody? I don't know. Like I said, we could talk about this for 4, 5, 6 days. Just end up getting angry about the whole thing. Cause I look at my mother-in-law. She voted Republican, but then she started move down ticket. She didn't know anybody. So she didn't vote for him. So she probably only voted for governor and senator and anything that was going on in the town by those people. But as soon as she started moving down, she didn't know who they were. So she wasn't going to vote for them. So I think and this is what we're trying to do on the channel here is I don't think that the uneducated voter is a good enough term. It is a voter that just hasn't gone out and taken the time to look at who the people are. And it's not necessarily uneducated. It's just somebody who maybe they just don't have the time to do it. They're at work, they got kids, they're up early, they go and do all this stuff. The weekends they're doing homework or maybe they work a whole bunch of shifts or something like that. And they just don't have the time to just sit down and look at who the candidates are and maybe just having a 30-minute video or an hour video of going through things and saying, this is who this person is. And this is a good reason why to vote for them. So, I just don't understand. My mom's a liberal in California and she votes for Gavin Newsom because he's good looking. And that's the only reason why she votes for him. So.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't think I've ever done it based on looks or anything else. I'm looking for a solid candidate. And you're right. You have to be really engaged to really learn about them and who they are. It's not like the old days when you knew everybody. Yep. Those days are gone. And then you're right. There's changes. And in how we're using terminology even. And so what I saw, when I saw some of this, squabbling on social media, and I dabble in a little bit, and then you just get, dumped on by everybody and your own friends, and you're like, oh, good gravy. And, just kind of, I just kind of said, we need to talk about vote, and we could talk about this another time, but it's voter maturity. We got to get past, what we see in front of us. We can all walk around. I didn't bring with me, but a baby bottle. Are we going to all suck from a baby bottle, or are we going to start drinking, from a whiskey from a glass? We need to start getting our own maturity about what do we want as Colorado. We can sit here and debate as far as we want till 24 about who's going to be the next president. I care about our community. I care about us, being a first responder for my community, and being involved in the county level, and then being involved in the state level, and even doing some national pieces. But I just really care about our community. And we got to figure out, like you said, how we're going to get along and all stand in line and vote for that hot dog. We have to learn that maturity of going, okay, these are our candidates. Maybe we don't like the process of how it got there, but we only have 19 Republicans in the state house.
I think, did we go down?
Majority. Yeah, it's a super majority on the House. It's super majority on the Senate. And they right now, the legislation could overrule the president. The governor.
Oh yeah.
They have enough power now, 2/3, and you're just like, we can fight all these things you want, but we obviously didn't fight enough because we can't change any of it. If we want to work on, I listened this morning, and I'll listen to it every Monday morning, and I really encourage everybody to listen and get engaged. It's 7:30 in the morning with a cup of coffee, over Kevin Lundberg's connection. He has a link, and we all get on for 1 hour. Start listening to reporters and websites like Campfire Colorado that Matt Connolly's doing. That's where we're going to get our information. We have to start getting our information, but you're going to have to go find it, or it's going to have to find you somehow. But nobody has, this is all grassroots, so everybody's doing it on a shoestring budget. We got to start listening and figuring out how we're going to get this stuff done.
Yeah, there's again, that's one of those things where we're gonna lose the state probably this time. I'm definitely scared of what's going to happen to the state of Colorado in the next 4 years, and we can't do anything about it. We just get to sit and watch it happen, and we're gonna all these people are going to complain about it, and then you're going to go ask them, well, did you vote? And some of them are going to go, no, because I didn't like so and so, and it's just like, well, then I don't want to hear you complain about it. You had your chance. Everybody had their chance to vote, and 53% is ridiculous. We need to get those votes out. So, what do you see the future of the state?
You're right. I'm a little exhausted. I'm nervous. I'm going to be watching the 120 days. I think we're going to see a lot of things we don't like and a lot of things we don't want, and we're going to have to, start being, fighting for what we want, being loud enough and telling everybody what we want, if we're the majority as it seems to be. And you're definitely going to have to be just on the front end of it. I don't want to be reactive anymore. We got to be proactive about it. Yep. We have to get their voice out. I've been definitely doing a lot of things. I'm obviously, anti-wolf and all those pieces, and getting that information out. We have all our connections of just letting everybody know that there's a meeting coming up, and we need people to do comments, and here's some talking points. I mean, we just have to be super engaged and really have all the pieces, so it could be really like super simple for someone just, to voice out, because they might just be, you're right, it might be in the field, they might be in their tractor, they might be picking up the kids from school. How do we, find somebody that will make time to get that voice out? I think that's our bigger picture, is how do we get our voice out? And what else can we do for all these election pieces that we don't like, and all the rules and the laws? We're going to have to start, putting money to it. We're only going to be able to sue people for it, sue the organization, sue the people that are sitting in office saying this is wrong, because our laws seem to have two separate sets of laws. And as soon as we go to the courts, they're still, not voting out for our, or not making decisions on our side. It's going to be a tough 2 years for sure. I think, we're going to see some energy again with whatever goes on with all the different presidents. It's going to be another long list of 17 people running for office.
Oh, yeah.
We got to start looking at that already. So what do we do as a state? How do we get organized as a state? You tell me.
I don't know. I just started doing this about 3 weeks before, maybe a month before the vote, I guess about a month before voting. So, that's just another one. Shoestring budget. Got a laptop computer. I got a light up there, and I bought the Zoom so we can put these things out. And I got a YouTube channel, and that's what I'm doing, trying to get, who do we need to, we need to start talking as one big happy family, not some crazy dysfunctional so-and-so's out drinking behind the barn and now we're not going to vote for him, or, they're going to find some, it always seems to come up, to find some little crazy thing that's wrong with everybody that gets put up. We call it the corn mafia or the wheat mafia out here on the Eastern Plains. And they don't like you, they're not going to vote for you, and they're not going to put you in for whatever county that they're doing. I personally think that and this is going to get so many people fired up, I think the caucus is too corrupt. We need to get rid of those and just vote. And I think it's just corrupt, because I've been in them and I've seen it, and you're just like, what is going on here? There's 10 or 15 people that kind of run that whole little thing there, and they make the decisions, and it doesn't matter what anybody else is going to say about it. So I think that the caucus has got to go. We're very few states that continue to do it. So
we're finding out that it's really difficult. I mean, it's really difficult to find, precinct chair people to even chair the caucuses in the different precincts. And so we've heard that nationwide, statewide, even locally, their struggle for that. So I see that it's really changed. I think I've been watching it now, like I said, for the last 31 plus years here, and I've watched it really change. And then, being on the other side and being on stage to be one of those, to get the caucus to vote for you, to get on the primary, it was an incredible experience. And you're right, it was hard to get a hold of people. It was hard to get to their events. It was hard to, like you said, to engage, because the person running it already had their mind made up, and they want one of the Republicans,
right.
And for another set of reasons that might not have anything to do with the treasurer's office at all. It's because of name recognition, or where they came from, or what their next step was. It wasn't for the most qualified person for the job. Right. The person that, like I said, I was the county treasurer, and saying, I know the job, I know the system. Let's work on the things and actually find the corruption and pull back the curtain and get and work on that and expose it for what it is, whether it was Republican or Democrat. Let's open it up and see what's going on and make it right for the taxpayer. And like you said, that, you would think that would be a popular voice, but it wasn't. It was based on somebody else. And you're right, who controlled the caucus. And was fortunate enough also to go to the RNC in 2016 Cleveland, and going through that whole process to be a delegate is very interesting, and how you go about it, and which team do you get on, and team this, team that, and then the whole marketing piece for that was extremely, I was glad to be a part of it. And then it came down to 6 of us from CD3 then. Now we're in CD2 with Boulder, which is a whole nother story, that whole redistricting. I don't know my biggest point on that. I'm going to pause for a second and digress. My biggest point in that is that we're the givers of the water, and Boulder's the takers of the water. And I don't see how the givers and takers of water should be on the same team.
Right.
That's a very difficult, but the redistricting decided that. But when I was at CD3, I was a CD3 going for a delegate there. And, 6 of us out of 29 counties made it. 3 were considered, delegates, and then 3 alternates. And I tied for 3rd with another gentleman from Steamboat. And we had to flip a coin of who went and who didn't. And it's because I said head. So it's because I said heads, I went and he didn't.
Wow.
Crazy. So there's a way to get into it. I'm going to be honest with you. Whenever I see a door shut, I always, when God shuts a door, there's a window open. I won't give up. The name of my consulting company, Never Give Up Consulting. I'll figure out another way to get in there. But it was it's quite a long process to get through, and we're going to be coming up to this in 24 before we know it. And I don't see how the caucus process is going to change in 2 years, especially when we don't even have the authority to do anything.
Yep. No, but I've been talking to people, and it seems like it, everybody's like, well, 24 is a long ways away. No, not really. It's right around the corner. We got to start now. The people don't want to hear it, but got to get that stuff out there on, get a candidate, get the name recognition going, get them on TV, drag them around the state. I believe Hickenlooper's coming up for his reelection this time, I believe. I'm not
I
sure.
think you're right. Yep.
Yep, I think it's his. So yeah, we need to get somebody in his spot and find somebody that's gonna, you know, I hate to say it, but something that everybody's gonna agree on. It shouldn't be what everybody agrees on. It's what the best person for the job and go from there. And we need to start like yesterday getting that name going. And it seems like it should be, a cakewalk, but it's not. It's just yeah, I get frustrated thinking about it and talking with people and yeah, it's time to start. I don't know how many are going to be up for reelection in the state house, but we need to find those people and uh, get those Democrats replaced. And then there was some that we didn't even have any Republicans run for office
Right.
in those districts. Got to put somebody up there. They might lose, but it doesn't matter. Who knows? You never know as I was told, you never know what people are thinking until they vote, and then you figure out what's going on. So yeah, we got to
Well,
get those
you're
people.
right. We can't wait to the last minute. We have a better message. I mean,
Oh
it's
yeah,
freedom.
yeah,
It's live your own life. It's like, government, stay out of my life. I'm doing fine and have the choice to do what you want and the choice to pursue what you want. I mean, I'm sorry that we missed Darko because I love hearing from, legal immigrants that come here for the American dream.
oh
Maybe
yeah,
we're kind of always been here. Your family's been here a lot longer than mine, and we're kind of like lazy about it, and we're not not realizing our freedoms and the Constitution, and we can get it. We can talk about this another time, but it's just we have a better message, and we're
yep,
just not messaging it well and in the right places for everyone to know that we want freedom, for you and for me, and have the right and the choice to do it. You have your First Amendment right. I might not agree with it, but okay, we're gonna agree to get along, and then I'm gonna have the same. I have the same rights too. You're not gonna
yep,
take them away from me.
right, yep. It's I just yeah, it's just we need to start now. Um, we need to get people moving in the right direction, get the message out. We do have a better message and tell people, hey, we need to get these people into office. We need to get replaced. We are quickly becoming California. Um, I do know as retired military, Colorado is not a very good state for a military to be retired in. That's why
Really?
it's not
Give
very
me a
good.
couple reasons.
Oh, it's just little things. Um, but you don't pay a certain amount on your property value. So in Texas, I think it's like 50% of the property value you don't pay on it because that's what Texas thinks that they owe the veterans or retirees, especially somebody who is disabled to 100%, that they don't have to pay on that. In Colorado's is way lower. And there's a lot of
Right.
and it's not just these blaring obvious things. It's just little cumulative little actions that the state does that other states, North Carolina does really well. And you just look at it and I don't understand because we have so many military bases here, that the other states just do better. And it's because it's California and the Democrats don't like people from the military because most of us vote Republican. And so they're just like, we don't care about you guys. So,
Wow. No, and I would say that, the attack on, like you said, the military, it's been an attack on the energy, here
oh
in
yeah,
Colorado. And then, now we're, I'll say it, it's the attack on, the Colorado farmer and rancher, every turn. I'm glad to be a part of some organizations that we can just make sure we get our voice out that no, we're not gonna stand for this. We definitely, you know, as families and as ranchers and farmers, we're putting food on everybody's table. This is really important, not just only to our lifestyle and our living, but for others. We're doing it to make sure there's food on the table for everybody. And when you start seeing the same things, they're, like you said, they're incremental. They're just little cuts
yep,
and little cuts and little cuts and little cuts and chipping away at it. And then all of a sudden, what do we have? And here we are. We can't say we're purple anymore. We're definitely
yep,
a blue state.
yep,
And it happened a little at a time, and whether we were asleep at the wheel or there was more of them than us, or just the, like you said, the apathy of voting. And I'm really frustrated by the undervote of how many, Republicans did not vote, not only countywide but statewide. Everybody stayed home. We can definitely agree to disagree when to vote. We have all these different ways to vote. We can vote for, by mail. You can walk in and vote. You can do same day voting. Look what's going on in Arizona. There's not one way is any better, and everybody was like dying on the sword of one way was better than the other. And when I put out just a little blurb on my Facebook saying, oh, there's a snowstorm coming, do you have a plan? Make sure you vote before, roads get shut down or something happens or a kid gets sick or I got to go here, or I got to go there. Just have a plan. And so many purists came after me saying, no, you have to vote on election day. You got to stand in line all day and vote. Well, you know what? We were shipping cows on the day before election. We were doing other things. I liked the idea that I was able to, turn in my ballot in person, but I was able to vote, from home. I didn't put it in the mail, but everyone has different options now. And all these options were given to us by the Democrats.
Yep.
And I never saw it as a way to game the system. I thought it was just an easier way for everyone to vote.
Yep.
And yet,
there's.
Go ahead.
I don't know why we don't play at their game too.
Right.
Why don't we play it there? They want to play this way. Well, let's play that way back.
Right.
You go on to the.
You know what? No, I just said you're right, because they did the whole part of ballot harvesting. Why are we continuing to use Democratic words on things that they're using against us, and we're using the words, and yet we're still not learning how to do it? I'd rather call it ballot chasing. That's what I always called it when I was running for office, when I needed somebody to get their vote in, their ballot in. I knew that they didn't turn it in yet, but we got to play the games at the rules. The rules of engagement have changed, and we have to change with them.
Yeah, we haven't changed. Yeah, the rules exactly. The rules of engagement have changed, and we're still let's vote on election day. Well, fine, go and vote on election day. But the rules have changed, and we need to you have to fight fire with fire. And we are not doing it. We are just standing back, getting ran over at every time something pops up. Man, just getting steamrolled here, there, and everywhere. And you think people would get tired of it, and so they just, I'm not just going to vote. I'm not going to vote because it doesn't matter. It matters. It matters. Every single one of them matters. You need to go out there and vote. And
Hey, Todd, I'm definitely I'm running out of daylight here in the car.
Yes, you're starting to get dark.
Can we pick this up another time? Because I'd love to chat more about it.
Oh yeah, just we'll have to pick a time when it's not getting dark.
Right. Exactly. I didn't think about it, and it looks like a school bus is showing up, so I got to get out of the way.
Uh-oh. All right.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity, and let's keep the talk about it. I mean, I'm happy to debate and talk to anybody about any of these topics.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll get Darko on here, and he'll give you a run for the money. He just loves this stuff. He loves it. He's something else. I love to watch him just go. So it's fun stuff. So, all right. Well,
that'd be awesome.
We'll talk at you later, and I believe you got a snowstorm coming up there anytime now.
It's really gray and socked in right now. I'm kind of looking at it. It's coming.
Yeah, I can't see the mountains right now because they're completely behind all the clouds. So it's like, crap, it's coming. So, all righty. Well, we'll set another time and talk to you again. And you're slowly getting darker and darker and darker. So I guess that's a signal to go. Hey,
all right.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.